Alright, moving on to the Hanged Man, which is a social link that I just finished recently. This is the highest level Attis, and this description is pretty consistent with what I've been seeing in my mythical resources. They said the reason that he died is also because that he fell in love with a nymph, and Cybele decided to drive him mad. Attis is also associated with vegetation as well as shepherds. Also, it is said that he is additionally associated with the planet Jupiter. But the whole pine tree thing and everything else here is pretty accurate. The stories are a bit variable, but still the castration and his death is usually consistent with each of the stories. Next one. Next one is Hellbiker. I didn't bother looking him up in my mythical resources, and I don't think I really need to. I'm sure this is based off of Ghost Rider from the Marvel comics, but the first time I've ever seen him in the Shin Megami Tensei series, but I don't think it's the first in the series, is in Nocturne, as he was one of the fiends that the main character encounters. As this one old man gives the fiends candelabra, and they all have to basically duel each other out until one fiend remains and has all the candelabra. So, and Hellbiker is one of the ones you encountered, as well as Daisoju, Matador, and several other ones. And let's see. Moving on. The name for this, the Hecatoncheires, means 100-handed giants, or as it describes. The reason that they were enlisted is because they were basically siblings of the Titans, but they were locked away by Uranus, and Cronus freed them, only to lock them up again once he started his rule. So Zeus offered them freedom in exchange for helping them against the Titans, which they agreed to do. They're basically associated as the ones that are guarding the prison of the Titans in Tartarus, which is the hell, or the worst of the hells in Hades. So this is a pretty consistent description with the other resources. Ubelluris, I looked it up and it went under Ubelluris. Basically the B is replaced with a P. He's called the Hurrian mountain god, and it said that he stands in the ocean, and on his shoulders the world is built on it. So it's very vague, but it kind of sounds similar to what is being presented here in this description. So again, there's also that license that they can use to alter stories to their own will. So basically that's as much as I found of this guy, because it's, well, very brief. And he has a different name in Devil Summoner, but I don't know off the top of my head. Or same mild, different name. Second one, or this one, Vasuki. He's he was a serpent that was actually wound around by the gods and the Asuras around a mountain to churn the Sea of Milk, which is what this description associates with. It's also said that he's one of the kings in the Nagas, which I think is probably true. But the rest of the description is that as soon as he was squeezed around the mountain, he ejected a poison called Visha, which is the most potent of poisons, and to keep it from poisoning humanity and also poisoning the Amrita, which they're trying to retrieve from the Sea of Milk, Shiva swallowed it and held it in his throat, which is why in Hindu descriptions he's often associated with having a blue throat. Orthrus, I think there isn't really that much about him. It's that he was mentioned for one of the labors of Hercules when he was trying to take the red oxen from the giant Geryon. It's also said that in many of the descriptions in the Shin Megami Tensei series that Orthrus is also a sibling to Cerberus, which are descended from the monsters Typhon and Echidna in Greek mythology. And they were the ones that actually produced other famous monsters like the Nemean lion, the Hydra, Ladon, quite a few actually. Okay, well that's much about that. Moving on to the next one. And if there's anything I missed, you can correct me. Take-Minakata, very, very brief listing about him. All they said about him is that he's a descendant of Kuninushi. So I think it sounds like he's descended from one of the terrestrial gods. Somewhat descended from Susanoo. I think the name is supposed to be a counter to Taki Mikazushi, who defeated him. And I think by this description it meant that at this point, the descendants of Kuninushi have absolutely no power in Japan, or no rule in Japan, so instead, the throne has been sent over to Ninigi, which is the descendant of Amaterasu. And if there's anything I missed, feel free to add in the comments and correct me. I'm willing to listen to them. And the last one is Inugami. The name means dog spirit, and basically all I've really found of it is the souls of people or of dogs, pretty much, or people that change into dogs. As since in the Shadow Hearts Covenant series, Hirando's last name is Inugami, so hence why Onmyoji is basically the name of Japanese sorcerers, and they're most famous for having familiars, among them the Shikigami and the Shikioji, among other familiars, but the Inugami is one of them. So in the movie Onmyoji, they're often called servant gods. So that just about does it for this. All I can find, so feel free to add.